So another WWDC is behind us, which means we got a whole bunch of beta software to take a look at. But today we're specifically going to be focusing on macOS 26 Tahoe. Still going to take some getting used to, because it was officially confirmed by Apple that this is going to be the last release of macOS to support Intel Macs. Which, let's be honest, isn't a surprise to anybody. I mean, we all knew where this was going the moment Apple put their own processors in their computers. There's only a handful of Intel Macs that Tahoe can officially run on, and this one right here certainly is not one of them. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So yeah, you probably already know where this is going. Today we're going to be trying to use the OpenCore Legacy Patcher to run macOS Tahoe Beta 1 on my mid-2009 MacBook Pro, which is currently running macOS Sequoia. I did that in this recent video here. And I gotta give huge thanks to Greg Rutke of Rutke Mods for giving me this idea, because I saw a video he did recently of doing this exact same thing. I was thinking of making a video like this once Tahoe support got added to the OpenCore Legacy Patcher, which I figure it will at some point. But Greg pointed out that you can actually do this right now, though it is not recommended and not officially supported, and this is probably, if we can actually get it to work on this thing, it's not going to be a good experience whatsoever. Greg was able to get this working on a 2013 iMac in his video, and the performance was pretty abysmal, as you can probably expect. But I'll have his video linked down below if you want to go and check that out, which I would definitely recommend you do if you want to see what is probably going to be a much more successful installation attempt, because this machine is 4 years older than that one, and it already struggles to run Sequoia. I mean, it runs it, but it really lags as you're going through the menus. It's just not a really great experience. But you can still use like the network adapter to go online. That stopped working in Greg's video. I imagine we're going to probably experience the same thing here, because again, this is not supported or at all recommended by the people behind the OpenCore Legacy Patcher. They tell you straight up, do not do this, do not attempt to run the beta, it's not supported, it's not going to work, so of course we're going to try it anyway. However, first we have a little bit of prep work to do, because this system is currently running Sequoia version 15.1, and the latest version is 15.5, and OpenCore Legacy Patcher has very nicely detected that the system started downloading that update, and it popped up and said, hey, it's got to do some stuff to, make sure this whole process works properly. Now, I thought about just going directly into the Tahoe install from the current version of Sequoia that we're running, but I think it would make more sense to make sure that we're running the latest version of Sequoia, the latest version of the OpenCore Legacy Patcher, so that we, minimize the problems that we are likely to encounter. So we're going to click on OK and let it prepare for the software update. We'll close out of the Finder here. It said it was just downloading the update in the background. So let me open up system, I almost said system preferences, system settings. Okay, so we've got an option to update now. We're gonna go ahead and do that. I imagine that OpenCore is doing some stuff in the background. I mean, nothing else came up. We can open up the patcher here, but this is probably just going to bring us to the menu. When I first turned this system on, it did have to update OpenCore Legacy Patcher, so I believe we are currently running the latest version. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 2.4 is the latest release, so we're good there. We're just going to let Sequoia 15.5 download, and hopefully we'll be on our way. Well, I got some great news. That whole update process actually worked perfectly, so let's hope we have the same thing with the Tahoe upgrade process here. So we are running Sequoia 15.5. Now, I did have to go through and reinstall all the OpenCore root patches, because those did get wiped during the upgrade, and I assume that same thing's going to happen with Tahoe here. So I've got a USB 2.0 hub plugged in, so we can utilize an external keyboard and mouse, because of that USB 1.1 issue that I talked about in the original video, where that's the protocol that is used to communicate with the built-in keyboard and trackpad, and Apple removed that driver from these later versions of macOS. Now, I've got the Tahoe installer in this install assistant.pkg file. The reason is, in Greg's video, he actually had problems going through the regular updater, so I found a link for this on Reddit. He got it from Mr. Macintosh's website. There's a few other places that you can get it from, I'm sure, but we're just going to run this and see if we can successfully go through the install assistant installer. There we go. So we'll close that, and then I guess if we just go into applications, We'll just go to Launchpad, actually. There we go, install macOS beta. Now, just a quick note of the things that currently work on this system before the Tahoe upgrade. We've got a graphics driver installed, so we have some graphics acceleration going on. We've got both Ethernet and Wi-Fi working, and we have sound working. So I think we're going to lose pretty much all of that once we go through this update. We'll see what works, if we can actually get through this, because, I mean, I'm honestly kind of 50-50 on this. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But the installer came up, so we're going to say yes, continue, and we will agree, and we'll agree again, and it will be installed on Macintosh SSD. That's great. And we'll put in our password, and we're off to the races. So, alright, we are going to just sit here, play the waiting game, and hope this works. And speaking of waiting, I know you guys have been eagerly waiting to hear about today's video sponsor, Surfshark, whose VPN can run on pretty much all of your devices at the same time, thanks to its support of unlimited simultaneous connections. So the next time you find yourself getting bombarded with those annoying region-locked messages, or just want to hide your IP address from shady websites, they've got you covered with over 3,000 servers hosted in 100 countries that you can connect to change your device's location in a flash. But they're more than just a VPN, as they include some nice extras like their alternative ID feature, which can create proxy email addresses to protect your privacy, and an antivirus program to keep your devices free of malware. They also don't keep logs, so your browsing history is kept private, and they support advanced features like multi-hop and split tunneling. All their plans come backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, and if you sign up at surfshark.com/MichaelMJD, you'll get 4 extra months for free with the purchase of a year or 2-year plan. So be sure to check them out, and huge thanks again to Surfshark for making today's video possible. Okay, well, there's been some developments, and for full disclosure, I did step away from this for a few hours and just kind of let it do its thing, so I don't know exactly what it did, like how many times that it's restarted or anything like that, but it looks like the system has just straight up hung. I mean, you can see down here, it looks like it's about to say validating root device, but it just cut off at the D there, and I mean, I can't press anything on the keyboard, or, you know, like nothing is responding to you know, any input, so I'm just gonna have to restart, I guess, do another force power off, and start this back up, and we'll see what we got going on. Oh, well, there we've got the macOS installer, so I guess we'll boot into that, and see if this just does the same thing, because if it does... Oh, and that's straight up a kernel panic. I was a little bit optimistic, to be honest, because before it just froze up, it didn't actually kernel panic, but I don't really think we've got a way around this, other than just, you know, using an entirely different computer, which we can definitely do. I've got a couple other machines that are newer than this, but are still not officially capable of running macOS Tahoe. Let's just try this again, just for the heck of it. Boot into macOS installer. Well, I know this will come as a shock to everybody, but that didn't work. And in fact, a lot of things that I've been trying over the past couple of days haven't worked either. Because I've been messing around with trying to get Tahoe working on, you know, just a handful of computers here. Oh, and hang on, there's also this one. This is a mid-2011 iMac, we'll come back to that later. I've got all the model numbers and everything for these various systems written down. So this one right here, you guys may remember from a video I did last year. This is that trash-picked MacBook, what is this? A 7,1 from mid-2010. This one, you can't even put Sequoia on. I tried to boot off the installer, it just kept hanging, and I've tried that multiple times with different hard drives. I mean, did not make a difference, so couldn't even get Sequoia working on this one. This computer right here, I was actually really surprised that I couldn't get this working on. This is a 2017 MacBook Air 7,2. You can put Sequoia on this just fine, and it actually runs beautifully, but when you try to put the Tahoe upgrade on it, it kernel panics when rebooting into the installer. Basically the same thing that our mid-2009 over here did. So yeah, that kind of shocked me, but wasn't able to get Tahoe working on this. And you already saw the mid-2009, had no success with that. What I did have success with were these two systems right here. So this is an early 2011 MacBook Pro 8,2, and this guy back here is a mid-2011 iMac 12,2. They both are able to upgrade the Tahoe. However, they both experience the same problem when actually trying to use it, and that is we can't interact with it, even if I have a USB keyboard plugged in. You can see nothing's being typed into the enter password screen. So yeah, it boots up. This is Tahoe. You can tell by the lock screen, it is a little bit of a different layout. And I got this also to boot on this 2011 iMac, and that was actually the first system I was able to get to successfully boot Tahoe. But I couldn't interact with it. And initially I thought it was because of that USB 1.1 controller issue, because that iMac suffers from it. So I tried utilizing this USB 2.0 hub, didn't make a difference. I even tried using a wireless Bluetooth keyboard that I confirmed worked when we, initially turned on the machine, because before you actually boot Tahoe and get into the bootloader for OpenCore, you can use the USB keyboard just fine, and I was able to get this wireless one working in there, but as soon as you boot into Tahoe, it doesn't recognize it. And then I tried it on this 2011 MacBook because it doesn't suffer from that USB 1.1 controller issue, and I thought maybe we'd have some better results on here, but as you can see, it does the exact same thing. Using this USB hub does not make a difference, or using this wireless keyboard, that doesn't help either. Now, I still had a little bit of hope though, because in Greg Rutkay's video, he experienced this exact same issue on his 2013 iMac, and what he had to do was use a Thunderbolt dock that had USB ports on it, plug that into the Mac, and then connect USB devices that way, and he was actually able to get it to work. So I said, not a problem, I just need to get a Thunderbolt 2 dock. The only problem is, I didn't have a Thunderbolt 2 dock, I only have Thunderbolt 3 stuff. I don't even have a Thunderbolt 2 cable, or at least didn't, because I ended up having to buy one, along with Apple's official Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter, which is ridiculously overpriced, of course. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Michael, this is for the other way around, for connecting Thunderbolt 1 and 2 stuff to a Thunderbolt 3 port on a modern Mac. You can't use this. What are you thinking? Well, you actually are supposed to be able to use this because this is a bi-directional adapter. So that means that you could totally connect it up to a Thunderbolt 2 Mac like this, and then connect a Thunderbolt 3 dock to it and, plug in USB devices that way. So I thought, okay, great, I'll buy this cable that actually cost me more than the frickin' adapter, which I'm still not over, because, I had to buy this to get it relatively quickly so I could get it and test it in this video. But it didn't work on this computer or on the 2011 iMac. And I again tried a whole hodgepodge of stuff. I tried to use the USB hub with the Thunderbolt 3 hub. I tried to have it plugged in before powering the system on. I tried different keyboard. Nothing worked. So yeah, we've pretty much reached a stopping point here. I don't really know what else I can do. Alright, well there is one more thing I can try, and I was kind of debating on if I even wanted to do this, because I was saying to myself, this should work. It says that this adapter is reversible, and it should be working with my Thunderbolt 3 dock, but just in case that going through this adapter is screwing something up, I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought a Thunderbolt 2 dock off of eBay. And by a Thunderbolt 2 dock, I mean 2 Thunderbolt 2 docks. That way, if one of these doesn't work, well, maybe this other one will. They were both sold as working, and this means that this video is, delayed by like another week. I already spent like over a week working on it, doing all this nonsense with these computers, and I wanted to get it out then because, it's closer to the release date of the beta. By the way, the second beta is out now. I'm not even touching that, though, because it's not like that's going to fix, the Thunderbolt 2 port on a 2009 or 2011 MacBook or an iMac. It's going to make that work miraculously. Because, the problem here is just, again, OpenCore not being properly, updated. And again, they don't recommend you do this, but of course we're doing it anyway, and so I've spent like $200 on all this nonsense. These docks were still cheaper than this frickin' cable, though. I'm still not over that. Anyways, so we've got our 2011 MacBook here. We're going to plug this in and just see if, we'll try this one first. So we'll plug this into one of these Thunderbolt ports on the back, and let's give this some power. Yeah, there's no lights on this thing at all, so I mean, we're just gonna plug in our keyboard. Holy, no freaking way! No way! That actually did it! Alright, well there you go. Adapters don't always work. Here's frickin' proof of that. Oh my gosh, okay, this is just freaking incredible. So yeah, we made it to the software update complete screen. We're just gonna say only download automatically, and how do you connect? Let's say, I don't think Ethernet's gonna work. That being said, we do have an Ethernet port on this Thunderbolt adapter, so maybe it will. Let's say local network Ethernet. Let me plug this cable into here. I guess we'll just say, yeah, using DHCP, continue. Your Mac is not... Oh no, it froze up! Oh no! Oh wait, okay, it's fine. It says your Mac is not connected to the internet. We'll just say continue. Oh my gosh, look at that cursor lag. Holy cow. That is unbearable. Also, you can see the transparency is all screwed up. This was something that Greg also experienced in his video. We'll just say continue. That is a smooth frickin' animation if I've ever seen one. Analytics, no thanks. Don't need to share that. Or maybe we do. Wouldn't it be hilarious if it included like the like the model number of this with like a, you know, bug report or something. You can see screen time is glitching out here. We'll say setup later. And do we want to enable Ask Siri? Yeah, we'll leave that enabled, but I don't think it's going to work. Select the Siri voice. Yeah, we'll say choose for me, not that I can really tell. Don't want to share audio recordings. Well, naturally, the desktop is taking its sweet old time to load here, which is not surprising. We're going to give it all the time in the world. But the computer has not frozen up yet, so that's great. And if this doesn't make it to the desktop, I do have the iMac behind me. I know you can't see it right now, but it is on the desktop. So it's definitely, I mean, that thing's a beefier system, so we may just switch over to that. Okay, well, it's been about 30 minutes, and we haven't gotten anywhere on the MacBook. It's still just, like, frozen up on that screen. Or I guess not frozen, because, again, the mouse and keyboard still worked. So I went ahead over to the iMac here and was able to get through the post-install, like, setup and everything in no time, and you can see we're here at the desktop. I tried to go into displays and change the resolution, but it's only recognizing the 2560 by 1440 as the only available resolution, even if you, like, enable... you know, showing them as a list in here and using other resolutions. So yeah, I don't really want to try and like manually change the resolution just in case that screws something up, because we have gotten this far. Now, as you can see though, for one, the default wallpaper just changed to solid white, and you can see as we move windows around, like, it's super, super glitchy. Honestly, I don't even know what to do now. I didn't expect to get this far. I mean, we will just go and explore the operating system a little bit, and maybe try to get this thing online, because, I mean, as I mentioned, this here does have a Ethernet jack on the back, so we'll see if maybe we can, you know, connect it up. It didn't work on the MacBook, at least, well, during that initial setup anyways. But this is also the better system to do the demonstration on, because we have beefier hardware in this thing. We got a quad-core processor, we have more RAM, I forget how much, but let me go into About This Mac and verify. We have 8 gigabytes of memory, and a 3.1 gigahertz quad-core i5, and an AMD Radeon HD dedicated graphics chip in here, so that's nice. Okay, here's the wallpaper selector. So let's select the, oh, you know what? Because it's the dynamic wallpaper. It's probably having trouble displaying that. So, okay, let's just pick a solid or, you know, static picture here. Do we have, is that Tahoe one available as a static image? Yeah, I don't think the dynamic, you know, like that Tahoe wallpaper that we all saw, like, at the keynote, you know, throughout the whole thing. I don't think that's in here as a solid wallpaper, unfortunately. Let me maybe try to reapply that dynamic wallpaper. It does take, I mean, I clicked on this one, it does take a little while for it to apply. And nope, applying it back doesn't do anything, no surprise there. What if we turn off show on all spaces? I don't know, yeah, that doesn't seem to do anything. Alright, so we're just gonna apply, yeah, this, you know, looks better than just a solid white background, because, you know, that's kind of boring. So let's see how, like, the animations work, you know, minimizing. What do we got here? That's definitely taken a while. Oh, the whole system just froze up. Yeah, I mean, we still have the light on the mouse here, and we can still press the caps lock key on the keyboard, it lights up. But yeah, I think, oh, there we go. Yeah, it's just, okay. It froze up for a minute, it's recovering, but, oh my god. That is amazing. There's no dock. I mean, there is a dock, but there's no dock, you know, like the outline for it. And yeah, this is fantastic. So why don't we try to go into the dock settings and maybe mess around with like the magnification. It's got that turned off, which it should be off, because I don't think it's going to really like doing the magnification on here. But let's just see, desktop and dock. Okay, yeah, here's magnification. So we can change the size, we can make it, yeah, let's make it pretty large so it just shows up better on camera. And let's turn the magnification way up. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Seriously. Well, it's not great, but I mean, hey, for 2011 hardware, I mean, I'm honestly very impressed. So yeah, that's the settings application. Here's the horrific new Finder icon that everybody's been complaining about, and I mean, I totally get it. I don't know what Apple is doing there. Maybe they changed it in Beta 2. I wouldn't know, because I haven't downloaded Beta 2 yet. But yeah, here's the Finder. It seems like it doesn't like scrolling. And when I move windows around, you see we kind of have like an outline there that kind of glitches out. It's doing some, oh, like this is the, yeah, like this thing up here. You can see like the outline of that, of these widgets. See if we can open up the apps viewer here. Well, it showed up, but you can see there's no liquid glass going on. It's just completely transparent. It's just like right on top of the desktop. And that is something that in Greg's video he experienced with a lot of pop-ups and stuff like this. So like if we were to open up Spotlight, I think we have the exact same thing going on. So here's Spotlight. Well, can this thing get online? Let me open up system. I keep wanting to call it system preferences. System settings again. And just go to the network tab and see if it even recognizes like that we have a functioning Ethernet adapter. We have Ethernet not connected, Thunderbolt Ethernet slot 2 not connected, Thunderbolt bridge not connected, and Wi-Fi is off. Can we actually turn this on? There's no way this is gonna work. Well, I clicked the slider. It doesn't seem to be moving. Let's try this one here. Slider could just be broken. Yeah, I don't think that, you know, Wi-Fi is gonna be able to turn on, which not surprising whatsoever. So it's showing we have Ethernet and then the Thunderbolt Ethernet slot 2 and Thunderbolt bridge. So why don't I try just the built-in Ethernet jack and start from there? Okay, that's in. Still says not connected, and yeah, we should be getting something by now. I mean, it shows it in here, so that's nice. And I mean, the fact that it recognized the Thunderbolt one gives me hope. Again, it didn't work on the MacBook, but we might have had to go in and, you know, mess around with some settings in here. So all right, let's try the Thunderbolt one. Oh, okay, this one bumped up to the top. Still says not connected, but it like recognized that this was the active one. I guess is what it was doing there. Oh, well. I saw the little thing go to yellow, like it was identifying, and then it just kernel panicked. Well, hey, we got somewhat online there. I mean, it started to establish a connection, but you can see the iMac, it did not like that. So yeah, we're gonna have to do a force restart. Oh yeah, by the way, this poor MacBook here, still just on that black screen, hasn't even loaded the desktop completely yet. So yeah, the iMac lock screen has never looked better. All right, well, it loaded our Windows, and we got a message here. Your computer was restarted because of a problem. Yeah, you think? So, okay. Yeah, we're gonna try that again, just for the heck of it. Actually, before we do that, since it's just gonna kernel panic, this dock also has audio jacks, as you can see, for microphone and headphone, and I have a pair of USB speakers. So, first of all, let's see if we can even utilize the internal ones on the iMac. Okay, we got internal speakers and USB audio codec. So, okay, we've got the speakers. It has mute checked. We don't want to mute it. Oh, we gotta just, you know, slide it up. Yeah, okay. And, oh my gosh, it works. Okay. So yeah, built-in speakers work. Fantastic. This is the coolest scenario in which I've heard these sound effects. I'm not even joking. Like, this is just blowing my mind. I know, like, how poorly this runs on here, but it runs without any, like, modifications needing to be made to the OpenCore Legacy Patcher. I mean, that should tell you how incredible that this tool is. Well, I don't really got much else to say, except for let's try Ethernet again and see if we just get an immediate kernel panic. So, we are going to plug it in to the I forgot what this is called for a second. The Thunderbolt dock, yeah, that's what it's called. And we'll see if we just immediately panic here. Oh, we just froze up. Mouse pointer is not moving. Alright, yeah, we're doing a force restart because, I mean, hey, it kernel panicked the first time, it froze up the second time, it didn't seem like we were recovering there. I did give it a little bit of time, and yeah, so we are just loading back onto the desktop here. But I think this is a pretty good stopping point for this episode because it has gone on incredibly long, longer than I would have liked for sure. I mean, well, I know you guys didn't really see the whole thing, but I have been spending a ridiculous amount of time troubleshooting all this stuff, not expecting any anything to work, but just wanting to have something to show you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up my 2-week-long effort to get macOS Tahoe running on hardware that it should not at all run on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get access to these videos, sponsor-free access, by the way, much earlier than anybody else. But as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.